Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today we have a big challenge in front of us. This is the Penn International 30 VISW fishing reel. It's by Penn. It's a lever drag fishing reel that it's very, very popular in the sport fishing community for big fish. This one, it's suffering from a problem that a lot of these reels have had, and that is that there's a shift cam in here and a secondary gear that tends to become wobbly and slip over time due to wear. And I have two of these that were sent in, both with the request to replace the gear and that shift pivot or that shift cam. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to try and show you how to take this reel apart, how to address that issue, and if we have time we'll try and get into the drag side of the spool as well. But a lot of folks are probably watching this because they have a similar problem and want to know how to go about fixing that. Well, the first thing I like to do is to go pull the schematic of the reel. This one came from mysticparts.com, and most of the Penn reels schematics you can find on that site. They are a Penn parts distributor directly from Penn. So we got these there, and this one gives you the list that you know what you're looking at, and this one gives you an exploded view just to make sure. So we're going to be working up in this area here, wherever we are. This is your kicks, and this is your gears. Here's where you can see your stud and the secondary gear that needs to be replaced. So we're going to take care of that, and hopefully we'll all learn from this as we move along on how to service it. First thing you want to do is remove the handle. Now you can remove the whole side plate without getting into taking the front end of the support immediately, but let's just go there. There's a special tool that Penn has. It's kind of a U cutout, and when you look on the side of these nuts here, you're going to find two flat spots, and this tool should fit right in them, and then you can crack that nut, and then you can just kind of walk it off after that. Now, I've seen people go ahead and grab these with pliers, right? You do have this knurled kind of setting, but that's the right tool to use that. Of course, one of the first things you want to do as you start removing these pieces and parts is to take the pictures. It's very easy to get caught up in the moment, kind of race towards trying to get this reel serviced, kind of just start pulling pieces and parts, and then feel like something has gone wrong there. The next piece out is the shift button. And when I take my pieces and parts off, they go into a parts tray. I may need two parts trays for this because it's a big reel. I use corners of the parts tray for the different sub-assemblies here. That's how I make that work for me. And then there should be two screws holding this piece on. Now there is. I'm going to need a micro driver to do that. And I don't think this reel's been serviced before, so this is kind of a view you get into how Penn puts the reel together. Now there is a spring here. Again, you have a spring, you have the plastic guide assembly, you have these two screws that are holding that on. And those should tie into the handle. And when I do this, I'll tell you, it seems like I never quite get these aligned properly. This should come off now. Whoop, almost. So just leave this as it is, the old leave the sleeping dog lie if you can. But if it pops out, have that picture that shows you that's the way it goes. Now this piece does sit over the nut. You can see on the back end of this. And that's where I always have the trouble with this, is the back end of that. Well, I almost got in trouble there because that screw came out. So be careful as you take these pieces and parts off. Of course, you probably won't be doing it with a narration that's telling folks where things are, so you'll be able to pay a little bit more attention. But right now, we're going to do the same thing we just did before. We're going to take that assembly, going to put it in another corner of the parts tray, and know that that's where that goes. All right, now we have the handle nutters available. Let's see what we have here in terms of a size. It's a 12 millimeter. Now, some of the earlier ones probably have the SAE. I'm thinking this one's millimeter, or it can just be that it lines up with the 1/2 inch nut and handle come off. The handle I'm not going to lose, so I'll just put that off to the side. The nut we are going to put into that case. Next off then is the collar. And then we're going to just take off the exterior piece. One of the things you do need to remove is the preset adjuster, because you have the spool is attached with that. And then it looks like we have some Torx. So I have a Torx set here. I get questions on that occasionally. It's a Milwaukee Torx set. And unfortunately my hand strength isn't very good, but it takes a T10. And I do have a multi-bit set and a driver. So we're going to go over to that, see if we can't match up the right ones there. And to me, unfortunately, the way I organize this is a little bit of chaos. I just need to kind of hunt and peck till I find the right one. That looks like it. And I don't believe that we need to take this stuff off here to get to where I am going. My son-in-law actually gave me this. This is a snap-on palm driver. He's a mechanic. He gave that to me as a Christmas present a while back, and it's become an indispensable tool in my shop. All right, we're going to take this piece off. Check when you take these off to make sure that these screws are the same size. If they're not the same size, what you want to do is note where the longer or the shorter screw is, so that when it comes time to reinstall, you have them in the right place. So far, those are all the same size. This one just came off of the center. We're going to go put that with the adjuster there. This may be the last one here. And it looks like it because we're getting separation of the case. Yeah, so this should be able to come off now. And this is the internal piece that we're going to be working on. They've asked me to replace the gear, this gear, and the shift bar, which is underneath that. So let's keep going on this. As I mentioned, we'll service this as part of the reel, but the idea here is that this is a common failure part that a lot of people complain about in this reel. So we're going to just get to this one, and if we have time, we'll go back and do the servicing of the spool side, the drag. I'll show you the complete service. May have to do that as 2 separate videos. It might be appropriate to do it that way. All right. Again, same idea. Take the screws, take pictures. There should be a double dog on this, and they should be those finger dogs. So a finger dog has been around a very long time, and it's interesting that it's incorporated right into the current technology. If you get stuck along the way, then the best thing to do is go back to the schematic so that you can see where you are in the assembly or disassembly process. If you're stuck on what's the function of the particular piece, you'll see it there, and it'll help you. Notice that there are 2 studs that this seats on. Okay, probably should have my glove on for this. It's probably about that time. Bring that in, put that in the box right by those screws, and I guess the next question is, does this simply come up, or is this got a clip on it? A lot of folks kind of go quick with this, and well, they wind up ripping these teeth. All right, this just pulls out. That's one of them. This is the other. It should come out the same way. So I get questions from time to time, what tools are you using? That's kind of why I was talking about the Milwaukee set. This is a Crescent micro pliers. This is what it looks like before it gets the wear that I'm using. It actually comes in a set. This is a micro cutter, and this, well, it's one well-worn Crescent pliers. I use that all the time in my shop. It's become indispensable. I think I'm going to put that glove on just because it looks like we're in a sea of grease now. And we'll get over to showing you how to do that gear replacement. All right. Just going to grab a paper towel. As you can see, I have a roll of paper towels on my table at all times. Almost indispensable. We'll show you on the back end of this how this resets, but essentially it's a finger anti-reverse dog with a wing on each side that splits the ratchet. You always look for the side that's got the beak on it. So they're going to sit this way. And what that enables us to do is it enables it to spin in one direction and then clamp down when you pull back on it. Put that into the piece. We'll take that pinion gear off. I'll put that right next to it. And then this is your gear piece here. The gears come out by pulling this C-clip. Be aware, inside here is your shift mechanism. There's a long spring, there's a plastic piece up top. There's a little catch under there that's going to make this connect. And you can see, just pull that clip, your gear assembly is going to fall out. Just like that. We got a lot of cleanup to do here. So we'll do that. I think what I'm going to do for a moment is pause the video. I'd rather creep and get it right than sprint and find out that I missed something along the way. And as I mentioned, it's been a little while, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pause the video, clean up the old greases that are in here, then come back and look at the shaft and how to remove that main gear. Well, I've removed all the greases, so let's get to the main gear assembly now. And just like the front end of this, where it was held in by a case, I held into the case with an E-clip. Same is true on this side. It's right here. And how did I know that? Well, I looked at the schematic. I'm going to pull that. Again, take the pictures. Even though you have the schematic, your pictures will show you the orientation, when you pulled it off, how it came off, and, well, basically how it goes back together again. Now, I have two E-clips there. I'm not sure that they are the same size. They look the same size. I'm going to segregate them in my box just to make sure. All right, we should be able to pull off now. This is the main gear. We're not touching that one. They had asked me to replace the low drive. This is the high drive. And this is the little shift cam. And I believe I can see it right here. Just to the old naked eye, it looks like where you shift in, right here, has loosened. Okay. Well, there's a pin that holds this in. I'm going to go back to the schematic. I'm pretty sure I have to push this pin in here. It's either that or there's a screw underneath. I think that this one might have the screw. Yeah, okay. So we mentioned that we have a couple of things in the assembly here. I'm just going to turn it over, see if I can't tap that out. It's starting to come out. You can see it right here, the little plastic piece. There should be a spring on the other side of the plastic piece, so be careful as you do this. We have the plastic piece. We'll put that for safekeeping. Then my long screwdriver again. That's going to enable me to get to that screw that's holding this on. That will release the spring. And this is what we had. We have the spring and we have the screw. It's going to kind of go. And now we've got the piece comes off from here. And here's that keyway or shift lever. And then the secondary gear can come off now. And that's where they're asking me to replace these two pieces. Well, they sent in two reels, that's why there's two gears here. For those of us that may have been wondering. So one side does not have the notches, the back side has the notches. And then this has the Teflon gear as well. You can put that either way, put it here. And we want to take the gear again, bring that in. Make sure those notches are facing you. And we have the shift key. Should be able to bring that in. Bring that up. Now we want to bring our screw down. Okay, I think we got that. Yep, got that. Spring goes next. Plunger goes next. So that essentially is how you change that gear. Oh, but we're not done, right? We've got the main gear. And I got to just check here. I'm pretty sure it goes the other way, but I want to make certain of that. Again, take your time on this. You don't win races. It's not who finishes first. It's who gets it done properly. This goes this way. And we have that little shim washer goes on there. And we're back to that E-clip. And in my box, I made certain that I put it on for the different sizes. Push down. Push down and move that clip enough. Get it started in those grooves. And here's another thing you're going to see me use my micro pliers for. I want to pull that in because I don't have the hand strength. There we go. All right. So this is the assembly as we found it. You have a gear shift, your internals, you're set. Okay, let's put it all back together then. And then we can go about servicing that spool side. So this came out last. It's kind of fun, right? What comes out last goes in first. We do want to take the time to grease the reel. You saw a lot of blue grease on there. That blue grease happens to be Penn Precision reel grease, so we're going to grease that back up. And you know what? We're going to shut this off for a second here. I got a lot of tools on my bench here. I don't like having a lot of tools that I've used get in the way of things, so we'll just shut this off, clean the bench up a little bit, and come right back. Okay, so we're getting back to greasing up the gears. I use an artist's brush along with this grease. That's because it doesn't shed hairs. I find it convenient. And boy, this one's lasted a long time. It's kind of interesting, but I can't remember if it's a year or more since I replaced the other one. It's been a while. So I guess buy the right stuff, go to an artist supply store, get the right stuff. It just seems to last. Okay, let's put that back in then. We can put some grease onto the shaft here. Bring your assembly in. Press that down. That's your gear assembly. And now we have the other E-clip to hold that in place. So find your groove. Find the clip. And that one I was actually able to put in by my hand. Okay. Make sure it all turns, that you didn't somehow manage to jam something in there. It can happen. And let's just keep moving forward then. Looks like I didn't clean the pinion gear, so that would be the next piece in. Examine all the teeth when you do work on a fishing reel. Don't assume. You know what they say about assuming, right? Don't assume anything. Make sure that they're all nice and uniform, equal spacing. I use a bristle brush to clean the slots in the teeth, or the valleys in the teeth. Get the old greases out of there. And then we can grease up. These are the two different drive gears for your engagements. You can put a little bit of grease onto this knuckle here. The big gear is going to drive the low. This lower gear, or the smaller gear, is going to drive the high. Both of those go into the case next. That's a sealed bearing. That does not require lubrication. It's by its nature sealed. Now we're up to our anti-reverse dog mechanism. This one you got to kind of eyeball. You got to get these two posts onto those two studs there. You know what? I didn't do badly. All right. Move that down the line, maybe one or two. It's trial and error. I'm sure the folks that put these together in the plants, they kind of know. They probably count teeth or something and know that at a certain level, that's where it's going to be. Of course, I don't know that. So, all right, you got a square you need to mesh into. So you got a couple of things going here. There are two springs on these dogs. I think that's kind of what's interfering with me at the moment. Kind of like the Penn Squitter anti-reverse dog. It's got a little spring hiding in there that's going to bounce back, right? You can see how that works, and you have to seat that when you're putting this on. So let's try this again. Split the wings or the fingers. Kind of line them up. All right, I'm going to work from one side first. I have yet another micro driver. I'm just going to use that to compress that spring. I can bring that one up. Do the same thing on this side. And if you're not seeing this, I'm going to apologize right away. There we go. All right. So both of those springs have been compressed. This is your anti-reverse dog. When you're reeling, it sits free. You can notice how these are backed off. Kind of hard for me. I got greased hands now. Runs free. As soon as you go to pull back, you can see how these pull in, and those ridges and the beak of those dogs interlock so that you cannot turn that backwards. Okay, I'm going to take the carrier now. Those two sit over the anti-reverse dog pegs. Then we want to grab the 3 screws that we set aside that are the hold down screws. Best way to do this one is start the one up top. And those of you that watch the channel know me and these little screws, well, we don't play well together. From time to time we shoot them all over the place. Just be careful. Have a screw starter if needed, but this one at least has a little ledge that you can start with. All right, there we go. Well, if you have any questions on this reel or any reel, if you want to leave those questions in the comments section, I will try to answer those for you. And, well, maybe you're working on a reel and you're stuck. Maybe it's a matter that you're considering purchasing a reel or something, want to know how that reel is used. Maybe you want to know a little bit of a history of a reel. That's all the topics I try to cover in the channel. And, well, if you have that curiosity or that need or desire to learn more about that, let me know. And, well, we'll try to do my best here to get you an answer. I don't claim to be the world's foremost authority on anything, but if I can help you out, I will. Again, if you like these kinds of videos, please subscribe. All right, back end of this reel is just about done then. Let's turn our attention to going forward to the front. We've got this set up. Next up then would be to kind of put the reel back together again. The collar comes first. The handle comes on. Now we're getting into a balancing act here. Then that nut, I think we said that was a 12 millimeter. Start these by hand and work them by hand as much as you can. That way you don't risk cross-threading the pieces. This is a multi-tool. It's 9, 10, 11, and 12 millimeter sockets in one. Somebody told me that they have these as radio control car, RC car tools. This one happened to be made by Penn International. I guess that's an abbreviation, teamintl.com. I don't know if they're still in business or not. I've had this one a while. Okay. Next up then is this little guy. Always a curiosity. Again, I'm missing one of those screws, but that's probably good because I can take a look now. See where I am with the alignment. Huh, didn't miss by much. Wow, very good. Don't lose that screw. Just the littlest turn here. That should do it. This one is always fun. I got it. I think I got it. Okay, to install this ring, you have to put the ring in the plastic without the screws, because the screws ride a little proud, and they're going to actually hold both the plastic containment piece there, as well as the ring to the handle shaft. So when you go to install, put the plastic blank in first, then put the screws on, then bring it down. Next up then is your shift. And you're going to hold it here. We have that spring. You don't want to pop the spring out. Hold it, get it started, push the shift down, and then your button will sit. Next up then on the button side, again, by hand, tighten it as much as you can. And then we have that little tool with the indent. This is also available from Mystic Parts should you need it. That's where I got mine. Quarter turn, turn everything, make sure that it runs. Push in, make sure your gears are tight. Trip it out, make sure your piece is working. And we're in good stead with this. So we're going to set that to the side. And I think what we'll do is we're going to stop for a moment. We're going to do a part 2. Part 2 is going to be servicing the spool, just for those folks that are trying to figure that part out as well. And we'll take you through how to do that. And then we'll come back and kind of sum it all up here. All right. Okay, let's put this back on. We're going to give it a test now. So how do I put it back on? To me, pull the axle shaft. That's the easy thing to do. It's always tough meshing this square with this square. So what I like to do is pull that axle shaft, look through the hole here that you have, center this up, and just kind of turn it until you see it fall in place. Bring your axle shaft back in. Just like that. And now we can come over to this side here, put this into neutral or free spool. Line up your adjuster, put your free spool on, or your pre-spool on. I misspeak frequently. Bring this down. Just like that. You should spin. And if you move this, you should feel the tension in your handle. Then we can line up. We have a pin here. The pin lines up with the 2 grooves in the back. Bring the whole case in. With a little bit of effort, those pins will pop in. Let's take our 4 screws now that go back in. Flip the drive. Bring this over on this side. Two more. And then we'll give it a test. We'll see how we did. We know the drive is working. We've already done that. But we want to make sure everything else is working, that you didn't disturb something else along the way. Okay, pre-spool. The wheel should pre-spool. Of course, I'm turning it the wrong way when you're casting. It's going out. Bring it into drive. Needs to be adjusted. Bring it back to free spool when you adjust. Tighten in. Free spool. Now you got the first strike. We got the final strike in that one. Still needs adjustment. Bring it back to free spool. And just play with it until it does what you want it to do. Stop one. Full speed. All right, we almost have full drag there, so we're getting there. 2 or 3 more, just micro turns. Spin it, bring it up. All right, now we got the strike on 1, and we have more drag on 2. Again, we're in the low gear there. Go to high. There you go. Got your high gear. Push it in, pop it out. Mission accomplished. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but take your time, and it will enable you to repair what has become a flaw in these reels, and it'll allow you to keep this reel fishing for a long time to come. I hope you've enjoyed that. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, and rescue, everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for watching. This is what the channel is all about. It's about sharing with you what I know in terms of reel service and repair, as well as what I've learned about the industry, and only too happy to do that with you and for you. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day. Thanks for watching.